Hello, this is Tando from Cosmic Spark, and I'm back again with another video. This one is going to be a reading for my women's, for my female collective. Just want to know what's happening with you. What does Spirit have to say? I've brought my Sacred Cycles Oracle, which is really about the feminine. So I really want to get into our energy so we can get some advice as we are now in Pisces season. We are ending the astrological year. I think there is some advice there that I can give you that can help you prepare in time for the new astrological year next month. Angels, Ancestors, Spirit, this is a reading for my female collective. I ask for clear and concise messages only for my and their highest and greatest good. Please let me know what sort of advice we need to hear at this time. Thank you. Pregnancy. And at the bottom of the deck, 13 moons. Okay. I'm going to just pull out a few more cards and then I'll just start talking. Angels, Ancestors, Spirit, for my female collective, for their highest and greatest good. What's the advice that women need to hear at the present time? Okay, and at the bottom, accountability. Okay. I feel for my female collective that some of you could be getting pregnant, currently pregnant, and you're nursing actual life within you. If that is the case, let me speak to you first. Being able to be the creator of something so special as another human being, to nurse something within your own body, in your own womb. Love, to be able to love your baby while having never met them. Feel their energy while having never met them. Talk to them while having never met them. The idea that you have the power to have an egg turn and blossom into a human being, and over time, every single day, millions of cells are working so hard to create new aspects of this baby self, growing the fingers, growing the toes, all happening within you. That is such a precious, precious gift. And you need to, if you aren't already, create space or ensure that you're surrounded by people that are creating space for you to relax, because your body is working overtime. Your hormones are working overtime. You are going through so many bodily changes. Everything is growing. It's growing bigger. You're seeing your nose doesn't look the same. Your skin tone might have changed. You're seeing yourself in different versions of you. All the versions of you are equally important. All the versions of you are equally lovely, deserve love, deserve patience. If you're pregnant right now and you're being impatient about how long it's going to take for the baby to come, just remember your child is only in your womb once. They can't go back. You can't then go back in time and wish that you had sat with it more, prayed over it more, meditated on it more, that you had allowed yourself to take naps without guilt, allowed yourself to put your feet up, allowed yourself to be pampered by your loved ones, to have them bring food to you instead of you going to go get it, to have people hold space for you and be okay that you need to go to the toilet every 2 seconds. So if you are currently pregnant, please know that you are being taken care of. You are doing something that so many women before you did. And you have it in you through epigenetics. And that epigenetic memory, you will be able to give birth, and you will be able to do that and utilize that old ancient memory within you. It could be memory of you in past lives giving birth. It could be memory of the previous women before you. You are sacred. You are surrounded and being taken care of by your larger, greater family, like your ancestors, the female energy around surrounding you now is all of the women that care for you, that have already existed in your familial line. They are there with you while you're going through this. So when you're feeling lonely because maybe you're the only one pregnant amongst your friends, and so you feel like you're having a singular experience, sit there and talk to them. I'm really getting this feeling that you need to take time out to massage your stomach. If you want to do that by putting your oil of choice, you know, I'm literally doing it, but I'm feeling it. It's just like you stroking your stomach and talking to your baby, letting them know all the well wishes you have, and letting them know that you care for them and that they're safe. And do that not just for the child that you are incubating, so to speak, but do that for yourself. Do that to remind you that you're capable, remind you that you're already doing it, remind you that you've already done the hard thing. You're already 2 months in, 5 months in, 7 months in. You've already done the hard yards and you can't go back in time. And every day you're closer to that dream of yours of holding that baby in your arms. And so if that's relevant to you, I hope that that gave you something, because it felt like it needed to be said. If you are not pregnant, you might be nurturing and nourishing something that is important to you. This could be an art project. This could be a friendship that you're really devoting a lot of your personal time to. Whatever it is you're working on, because the womb is a place of creation. As women, we don't just give birth to physical babies through the womb. The womb is where we store the ideas that we want to birth, that we want to make a reality. And so, even if you're not pregnant, whatever you're nursing right now, do it with care. Nourish yourself on this journey. Make sure you're feeding yourself really well. Make sure you're sleeping really well. You might be working really, really hard to get an assignment done, the assignment, the last one. You might be really working hard to make something. Maybe you're building something from scratch. Thank you, Spirit. Maybe you are working on a book. Whatever it is that you're working on, make sure that you're talking to yourself, talking to your womb. You can do this by making this shape on your womb, so below your belly button. You make this shape, you close your eyes, and you talk to your womb. You tell it what you want. You tell it you ask it to communicate to you what it needs. You give it affirmations. You apologize to your womb for times that you have been impatient, times that you haven't listened, times that you've been hard or harsh through ways in which you were dealing with it. Maybe you weren't eating well, maybe you were using contraception, whatever it is. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with contraception. I'm not of the belief that being spiritual means that you can't do, you know, regular things like that. But it's kind of like you need to learn to have empathy with your womb so that you can also facilitate empathy with yourself and understanding that everything that you do affects parts of yourself in really deep ways. And that's why we use somatic therapy and meditation to try and draw out these energies that are stuck in parts of your body, because the body keeps score, as they say. That's why we feel anxiety in our stomach, right? And so there's this energy that whatever you're working towards, whatever you're nurturing, please, 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 for your highest and greatest good, be kind, be gentle, take the time to be apart from people if you need to, but also take the time to make sure that you have a really, really strong team. Because when I get into the cards below it, because I was just channeling off of that one card, when we get into the cards below it, one of them is women supporting women. And so there's this energy, whether you're pregnant or not pregnant, whether you're just pregnant with an idea, whether you're pregnant with a baby, whether you're pregnant with whatever it is, you need to have a really, really strong female team behind you. Because while men can support you, they can't support life. They can't imagine what that looks like. They can create through a different form, and they can use their own reproductive system to facilitate creation, but it's a different way. Whether it be your mother, if you happen to have a good relationship. I know not all of us do, and so I understand that your mother might not be the person that you feel safest. An aunt, a grandma. If you don't have access to family, or you don't even have a good relationship with your family, then you need to have supportive friends. And if you don't have supportive friends, don't interact with people unless or until you find your supportive friends. Because the way that people can affect your ability to create when you allow negative energies in. When you're older, wiser, more spiritually developed or conscious, you can really regret how you allowed certain energies in. To have things manifest for you in the way that you want them to, you need to raise your vibration. It doesn't even matter what it is that you want to bring into this world. If you want it to come out right and not something that you have to fix, not something that is lacking or lackluster, you need to raise your vibration. So if you're actually pregnant with a baby, you need to protect your peace like it's your full-time job. And I know that if you're in countries like America, being able to get maternity leave isn't something that you can just do at the drop of a hat. So please know that I understand that. But you need to facilitate for yourself with as much gumption as you do when you work for someone else, as much gumption that you do when you're batting for your best friend. You need to do that for yourself so that you can have a healthier, happier baby. I'm not saying there's a direct correlation, or that, making sure that you are happy means that your child won't have disabilities. That's not what I'm saying. You may not know, but a woman's state of mind and everything that she's going through during pregnancy directly affects the child. And so if you're with an abusive partner, firstly, if they're in a terrible state of mind, men actually affect whether or not you have terrible morning sickness, for example. But if you're keeping negative people with negative vibrations and you're allowing that in your energy, what it can do for you, what it can do for your child is cause a child that is born with, like, you can pass on to your child whatever nervous system you had while you were pregnant. Whether you were very heightened emotionally and had a lot of anxiety, if you felt like you were in survival mode, versus if you felt, because you facilitated it, ease. It's not to say that you can't work hard or won't have hardship when you're pregnant, but if you make sure that whenever things that aren't out of your control are happening, what things that are within your control facilitate a good time for you, then you can positively affect the baby by having them be born and start on a higher level that they won't have to pull themselves up from. They won't have to pull themselves up from a deeper level. If you're terribly stressed and in heightened emotional state, your child has to pull themselves up from a greater depth to get themselves to a healthy low cortisol self when they're older. And so you want to facilitate that so that you can help them not have to unpack so much later on. You need to be told right now, feminine, that you are not the sum of your wounds. You have learnt from your wounds. Your wounds are integral to the amazing, hardworking, empathetic, person that you are. But they are not. Don't look at yourself and think that because you've been through abuse, that's all people will see if they are aware that that is a part of your history. Because people like that don't deserve to be in your life. And if people really loved you, they wouldn't paint you with that brush, but they would take it into consideration when they're looking at your behavior. That's what I do with my friends, and that's what I hope that people do with me. If I tell you my trauma, I don't tell you so you feel sorry for me, and now you look at me in this way. If you do, I can't stop that, and it doesn't stop me from now. Like, I find I'm comfortable with talking about my trauma because it is an aspect of me, and I don't like having like different versions of me that I have to display. So that's a really integral aspect. I mean, there might be people I won't say it to, but that's purely because I don't trust you or I don't like you that much. And so there's no point in divulging that level of information. But if I trust you, I will divulge because I'm like, this is a safe space for me. And I want you to understand when you see me react negatively to certain stimuli, you can then maybe be like, oh, that could be an aspect of her trauma that I never considered. And so you have greater understanding and greater empathy, and you're less likely to take things personally. So if you're a woman watching this, you are not just your trauma, but your trauma can be a point of strength. When you look at this card, and I'm looking at the red background, that to me is the power that this woman carries because she's gone through whatever she's gone through. She is a powerful person. And if you go through trauma and it causes you to have greater empathy, that's the right pipeline. You don't want to have trauma and have it make you close-minded, because that's trauma you have to unpack. And to me, it just means you haven't unpacked it. And to me, it just means you're not in your highest vibrations if you're not going through trauma and alchemizing it and letting it make you more empathetic to those around you and less judgmental. You are enough. You were born enough. This card couldn't be more straightforward about what it means. You are everything that you need to achieve everything that you need. I like to think, in my own version of spirituality that you don't have to believe, that we chose to be born. We chose to be born, we chose the lessons, we chose how hard. And I think that's empowering. It's not to say I don't ever complain. Why is it this way? I didn't ask to be born. I still say all of those things. And yet I don't see it as a negative. Even if I was just forced to be here, now I am here. And the idea that I might have chosen to be here, to me, is something I can pull from and feel good about. I like feeling autonomous in this life. And I think conquering my mind, being involved in esoteric studies, makes me feel more autonomous. And so I think the more autonomy you feel, the more you feel that you have everything that you need, by virtue of existing, by virtue of whatever life experiences you've already had, not what you want to have, not what's outside of you, not what you would have hoped to have had. Whatever you already have currently is everything that you would have ever needed to make anything that you ever want, that you crave and need to happen. I want you to take that into account. Take accountability for everything that you have done that has negatively affected you, and take accountability for everything good that you ever have done that has positively affected you. And understand that you are way more responsible for everything that has ever happened. No, you're way more responsible for achieving your desired outcome through exerting your will. You're not responsible for the fact that people abused you, no. But you're responsible for how you alchemize that trauma to let it be a greater point of strength. And I want to end it with this, something I was talking to my best friend about last night. I truly and firmly believe that if you can see it, it's real. And I've always felt that because I saw older, wiser, higher vibrational women in media, around me, wherever, because I saw those women, I could be that woman. And because a lot of those women that are confident and strong and high vibrational will tell you that they weren't always like that. They had to work for it. To me, that's all the proof I need that if I work for the desired outcome that I want, for the desired state of mind that I want, I can get it because that woman did it and she has it. And what she has might not be what I want in the exact way that she expresses it, but I might want that state of mind. And how it comes out for me will be different, but it depends on the work that I do on myself to achieve that. I feel that for me to be here today talking to you is because I put a lot of intentional work and I've seen the results of that. And I want you to feel that if you put in intentional work, you can alchemize any trauma. You can alchemize any trauma and come out on the other end of it and feel powerful and feel like you can be a source of inspiration for others to beat their own trauma and allow it to give to them, not just take from them. And that's it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.